Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Happy Arbor Day. Happy Arbor Day. It's a fantastic holiday. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Super Wednesday. Happy Super Wednesday. That's right. Hello to Edina, Minnetonka, Minneapolis. Thank you, everybody. Have a seat. Thank you. Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I'm Jace. Please say hello to my good friend, my sidekick sister. It's Miss Kendall over there. Hello, Kendall.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
How's your morning going?
Happy hump day.
Happy hump day, I know. It's good. It's good. Your morning's going well, though?
Yeah, my tooth feels a lot better.
That's right. You had reconstructive surgery in your mouth or something, and
Yes.
or a filling.
A filling,
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing
And,
well, though?
my calf is feeling much better, too.
Okay.
So in case anyone is wondering.
Yeah, you've been injured. You've been injured quite a lot this week.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Well,
I need bubble wrap.
I'm glad you're better. I know. Let's just wrap you in. Well, I know. And now with the coronavirus, we need to wrap. I mean, seriously.
I know.
Remember, wash your hands for 20 seconds, everybody.
Happy
And I saw a
birthday.
video yesterday. The Chinese are no longer shaking hands. They're like knocking feet. They're going up to each other. Leo, can you take Eric's camera? Come here, Kendall. Let's go here. Let me show you what they're doing.
No.
Come on.
Okay.
Come with us over here. This is what they're
Okay.
doing. Now stick your foot out. You ready?
God.
They're going, hello, hello.
God.
That's what they're doing. They're doing
terrifying.
that. So no, we got
But we
one
can't
clap for
hold
that. So we got
hands.
one, but they're doing, like kick my
What?
feet like this. Boom, boom. That's what they're doing, like that.
But you can't
Yeah.
hold each other.
But, and so there's no, now we just had to hold hands doing that, but that's because we're old and we can't balance.
do it.
But no, that's what they're doing now. I don't know if I
Really?
like that. I just do the elbow thing.
Yeah.
Hello.
Or
you know?
they're like, oh, you kind of, oh.
Yeah.
You know, and someone does that to you and you're like, oh, sorry, I didn't know we weren't touching today.
Well, and now our executive producer, Jeff, he's usually the voice of reason. Now he's all freaked out. He's walking around in a gerbil ball, for heaven's sake. You know, he won't, producer Ted, he won't let Ted get within 20 feet of him. He's wearing rubber gloves
For
everywhere.
real.
It's
For
crazy.
real.
Did you watch any of the, hashtag we don't do politics on this show on purpose, but you just have to laugh because like a lot of Minnesotans, we have the highest, what is it? We vote, we're the highest state for voting, right? Because we're smart, ladies and gentlemen. We're a smart state, no matter who you vote for. Anyway, I'm politically engaged. I don't use that muscle on the show, but I was watching all the coverage. I'm also a TV guy, so I had my friends over for girls' night. So we're flipping around. I love watching all the networks. I flip around who has the best graphics, who has the biggest set. And I turned over to ABC, and I love George Snuffleupagus. I do. I love him. I turned on, their set looked like a Roman Colosseum.
Really?
There were 4,000 people on that set. I looked over and there's Chris Christie. They had a hologram of Gerald Ford. Thank you, Jeff. They had everybody. I mean, they were pulling people off that's been retired for Sam Donaldson was there. Tom Brokaw doesn't even work there. He was there.
There.
And then like CBS, I turned, because I'm a big set guy. You know that. I notice everything. I'm big on sets. I looked, Nora O'Donnell, the CBS sets new, but they had like an ugly background behind them. It was the White House, but it was a dark picture of the White House, which nobody looked good under. Let's see here. Fox 9 looked great. That's right, Fox 9 looked great. But I noticed all those things like graphics, and poor Steve Kornacki.
That
over
man
at,
doesn't sleep.
Take my camera here. Will you let the man sleep? Steve Kornacki has been at MSNBC for 24 hours for like a week now.
Yeah.
Let the man sleep and change his khakis. I mean, yeah. I love Steve because Steve gives zero blanks. Steve doesn't wear a suit.
Nope.
Now, if you don't know who Steve Kornacki is, he's the guy that goes, okay, Wilmington County is they're coming in at 2%, and let's go down over here for Willington County. And he's the guy at the big board. He never wears suits. He rolls up his sleeves. He wears, J.C. Penney khakis, and I love it. That's why I adore him. He's like, He's my favorite nerd in the world.
He's
I
so
love,
into it.
Yeah.
So into it.
Anyway, so hope everyone, Minnesota, look at those numbers. We voted in huge numbers for our first primary.
Go team.
Congratulations, Minnesota. Yeah. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. We are getting our, speaking of nerds, we're going to nerd out for just a second. We're getting our first look at the new season of Stranger Things. The show's official Twitter account released. Now, don't worry. Don't click off. This isn't going to spoil anything. A little bit, but not too much. They released a teaser before the teaser for season 4.
Huh?
Kendall, it was a teaser for the teaser. You
Oh,
got that?
Lord.
Look at this. Look at this.
Can I see that?
Go crazy.
Awesome.
I love filming on this. I don't know how to work. Is it recording right now? Here's the video.
Okay, you see everyone's back. That's the cast at what they call the table read when they read the script for the first time. The usual back, like Millie Bobby Brown and Gaten Matarazzo. I can never pronounce his right.
I don't know.
Matarazzo, that's right, yeah. Thank you, yeah. But also back are Maya Hawke and Winona Ryder. That's right, Winona Ryder's back there, yeah. Oh,
All I saw was a puppy. That's all I really clung on to.
And that
there.
video reminds me of the award-winning Jason show before the show that we do on Facebook every day. There is no release date yet, and we don't even know what year it will be when it returns. Like the last season was in 1984. So is this?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this going to be 85, 86? Those were good years. We had some fun in 85, 86.
Yes, we did. It was great.
86. You weren't even born yet. What are you talking about?
I wasn't.
86, 87 was horrible.
Oh.
I was in junior high. I had PE class. I had to climb that dumb rope that you had
Did you
to
do
in
it?
What?
Did you make it?
Oh God, no! I fell. I just.
I always felt bad for those kids.
Oh no! I look like a. What did she say to me? What did she say?
Some subtle
What? No. What
shade.
did she just say?
I said I always felt bad for those kids.
Oh, for those kids? You were the nasty cheerleader that made fun of me.
No. I just had a lot of upper body
You have
strength.
just revealed yourself. No, I looked like a fat little gobstopper. I would just fall. I looked like Pac-Man. I had little stubby arms, and I'd get up there, and it was like.
It's not fair. It's really not fair. If you're just made that way, you made that way.
Well, and can I ask educational folks, what does that prove? Why are we having kids climb a rope?
I don't think they do it anymore.
We're not
because
going to be
it's
pirates anytime soon.
I know,
You know,
I
I'm not
know.
One-Eyed Willie. I'm not looking for treasure. When have you ever climbed a rope? You know, when do you need that skill?
Well, you never know.
Never, Kendall, never. Next to the
Never.
dish, Ben Affleck is out promoting his new book, The Way Back, and he was on Kimmel last night and talked about his longtime friendship with Matt Damon and what things were like between them, speaking of being kids, when they were kids. Look at this.
We knew we lived down the street from each other and we see each other at the park and stuff, but he was kind of one of the older, bigger kids. And but then I got like this job on, I got a job on TV, like a PBS cheesy educational show for kids, which I thought was kind of lame, but it was enough to make Matt like boil with envy.
Oh, really?
He wanted to be an actor very much.
Okay.
He took it very seriously. And then when we got to high school, we went to a public high school in Cambridge, and I went out for the fall play. I went to audition for the play, and I saw Matt there. And he kind of eyed me. Yeah. I swear to God, this is a true story. He walked up to me. He said, "Let me give you a little advice." I said, "Okay, great, thanks. Well, what time?" He goes, "This isn't TV where you get by on your looks and your haircut. This is about talent. This is the theater." Turned around and walked away. Stone cold.
That's right. He says Matt has only done one play since. All that talk of theater. He's only done one play since. The two won an Oscar together, as most folks know, on Good Will Hunting. Still one of the best Oscar moments ever in the last 20 years, 25 years. The Way Back, by the way, hits theaters this weekend. I said it's a book. It's actually a movie. You still, I always say I consider myself a lucky guy for a myriad of reasons. One of them is I still have friends of mine from high school and elementary school. Are you still in contact with any of your elementary school friends like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck there?
Yeah, I mean, we all get together once a year, too. We used to call it...
Let me guess, in Red Wing.
Yes.
That's right, yes.
We used to call it Christmasiest because we would just get crazy around Christmas because we were coming home from college, and now we'll like rent a cabin in July and it's Christmas in July or
nice.
Christmas in April. It is fun, and whoever can come comes, but it's great.
Old friends are the best friends. They really are. Not old in age, but yeah, I have my high school.
Those are great too, though.
Those are good friends too. Yeah, I have my high school 4. The ladies, they usually watch in Indiana, and then I have a childhood friend. I don't often talk about him, but we're still friends on Facebook. Brett Calloway. He lives in Chicago now. He lived across the street from me. We played Star Wars together. He was even more spoiled than I was, if you can believe that. And he had all the Star Wars toys. Like,
He had
and I
all
mean,
of them?
yeah, I had all the He-Man toys. He had all the Star Wars toys.
Cool.
Yeah, and I may have stolen one of his action figures.
Just a few.
I'll pay him back. Yeah. We have a lot more to come, everybody. Stay right there. Back after these words. Back after this.
Coming up in just a bit, all streaming sites aren't created equal. After initially loving CBS All Access, I had an epiphany about what they are doing so wrong and how it's ruining their shows. I'll tell you about it. Then, somewhere, Demi Moore is crying. Kendall is taking a pottery class and bringing along Intern Kenny. Will this be a work of art or just a small clay ashtray? You'll find out. And I'm unveiling another best thing ever. It is a podcast from the one and only Oprah Winfrey. Stay right there. We will be right back.
It's remarkably simple. I'm going to quiz members of our studio audience about things that have happened so far in this show. If they answer right, they get a prize. If they answer wrong, they have to forfeit their seat to one of the more deserving audience members waiting just outside in our Late Late Show bullpen. Now, what's your name? Where are you from?
My name's Jamie and I'm from Australia.
Whereabouts in Australia are you
Brisbane.
from, Jamie? Brisbane. So what? Oh, there you go. What brings you to Los Angeles, Jamie?
I'm on a round the world holiday with my daughter.
During the guest check-in with Eliza Schlesinger, we met her dog. What was her dog's name?
Toto?
He's gone with Toto.
Oh, no.
Let's find out and see if you're right.
This is Tofu. She's my rescue dog.
You were so close, and yet you clearly weren't paying attention at all.
Bye-bye, Mr. Australia. James Corden playing a game of where were you paying attention? That's right.
So close.
So close, but yet...
No cigar.
Yeah, we were talking more about Kendall being mean to me in elementary school. And, we were one of those kids, ladies and gentlemen. We were one of those kids. And a photographer, Eric, because look, I'm just giving you a hard time. But everybody has that in common. We all have a horrible story from growing up. Kids are mean. I mean, kids are just horribly mean. Photographer Eric, he said he was shoved into a locker 2 times smaller than he was. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Aww.
He's fine, everybody. He's fine. He's fine
And
now.
I meant it, and I genuinely meant it. I remember being like, oh gosh, that looks terrifying, because you'd see those kids fall. It was at the YMCA. They didn't do it in our school. And I did it, and I got to the top, and my poor little arms were like shaking so bad from pulling myself up that I rope burned the whole way down. My little inner thighs were like, done.
I know. It was either that or like us. I mean, the little puffy kids, we fell like apples in harvest season. I mean, it was just like, boom, there we go. More late night for you. Kevin Bacon visited Jimmy Fallon last night and talked about his scripted podcast. It's called The Last Degree of Kevin Bacon. Look.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that I'm associated with is really kind of darker material and dark characters.
Well, you
I'm
are
not
good at
afraid.
that.
I'm not afraid of it. And
Exactly.
And I can go dark places. But I take my work very seriously. But I don't take myself very seriously. So when the Spotify podcast, The Last Degree of Kevin Bacon, came around, there was an opportunity to really poke fun at myself and to play a very heightened version of me.
Yeah, that's not you at all, really.
Well, I'm just a giant. I'm really like super self-involved. And the thing about this podcast is that people kind of assume, because everybody's got a podcast now, that it's me either doing interviews or which I could never do. I could never do what you do because I'm way too self-involved to actually sit there and pretend that I'm interested in anything that anybody else is saying. And I really do. When I see you speaking to me right now, I really do admire you for making it look like you actually care.
It's an art. It's an art. The Last Degree of Kevin Bacon debuted last month and is exclusively available on Spotify. Again, a common question, and I love to give little stories, is, who's nice, which celebrity's cool. Kevin Bacon, I remember, was here many years ago with his brother. They performed at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, and it was the Bacon brothers. And they offered to do an in-person interview, not a satellite in-person, and that was about 13 years ago, left such an impression on me. He was the kindest dude. They were both, the Bacon brothers, they were so nice. And I remember him telling me a story. He found out that I was from Indiana, and I'm from Michigan City, Indiana, and the city right next door is called Valparaiso, Indiana. We actually have some folks that watch us online from Valparaiso. Smaller town, probably 30,000 or so. It's a college town, though. And there was a young man who did a public access talk show, on their community TV station. And he was a huge fan of Kevin Bacon. The young man kept writing Kevin, please come on my show. Please come back, come on my show. Kevin and his brother, when they were performing in Indiana, drove to this kid's house where he did the show, sat in this kid's living room and did the interview on the public access TV station. Yeah, it was a great story. I thought, that's a cool dude. I was already a fan. I've loved him since Footloose, but that made me even a bigger fan. I like to see that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Next in the dish, there may be a high-level peace deal in the works. Not in Afghanistan, but between two groups that have been feuding for... The audience is like, Jason said Afghanistan, yeah. Between two groups that have been feuding for quite some time. Page Six is reporting John Mulaney, last weekend's guest host on SNL, is trying to broker a peace deal between Pete Davidson and the cast of Saturday Night Live. The talks, thank you, audience. The talks, now they understand what I'm talking about. The talks happened at the after party following last weekend's Saturday Night Live. Pete didn't go to the famous after party because of bad blood with his castmates, particularly after that tell-all interview that John did, that Pete did. John, who was a close friend, went to the party and tried to reason with cast members and share Pete's side of the story, saying Pete's not doing himself any favors, but they should take care of each other. Now, it's unclear if the two sides will sign a peace agreement anytime soon. I am with the rest of the cast. I'll say this, a little disclaimer. I don't like to beat down anybody that's admitted to having mental health issues. Pete is dealing with those. But let's just talk business here. I can't blame the cast members. You're busting on the show. You're busting on them in public. Mm-hmm. In public, you're going on a podcast. If you have internal problems, solve it internally. Right. You're going to do nothing but create animosity. And also, you're on I'm going to say it again. I've said enough. You're on a show like SNL. You got to toughen up. You're in a room full, right, Shannon? You're in a room full of comedians where you all rib each other. And if you can't handle it, go work at Cheesecake Factory. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have any of the other cast members come out and said anything negative about him? I haven't heard that either. No. The only thing is, it was funny. Leslie Jones was on Howard Stern a couple weeks ago, which, by the way, great interview. ... If you haven't seen Leslie Jones's Netflix comedy special, laugh until you roll on the floor funny. Anyway, Leslie made a passing comment to Howard. Howard's like, how did you deal on SNL with being in your 40s and all the youngins? And she made a passing comment, a side comment about how the youngins drove her nuts, and one in particular. And I would bet $4 and a dozen Dunkin' Donuts that she meant Pete. Yeah, just the 4, not 5.
Not 4. Yeah. Next in the dish, I have a beef with the folks at CBS All Access, in particular those behind the show Star Trek Picard. Speaking of Howard Stern, this was talked about on the show. Here's my deal. I started Picard and loved it initially. I am not a huge Star Trek: The Next Generation fan. I enjoy the movies for Star Trek, but I'm not a series watcher.
Okay.
Yet I was excited to watch Picard. I was excited after the first episode. I believe that I promoted it here on this show. Who doesn't like the great Patrick Stewart? But the show has not kept my interest. I have found myself not wanting to go back, not having any desire to go back, and I was wondering, why is it? Is it the slower pace of this particular Star Trek show? Is it maybe just a bad plot? Well, I was listening to Howard Stern, as I do, and he brought up a point that I thought, that's it. Here's the deal. CBS All Access, which hosts Picard, they don't give you all the episodes at once. They give you one per week, like normal television. You can't do that. You can't do that anymore because here's what happens. On a show like Picard, just hear me out here. On a show like Picard that doesn't necessarily have your full attention or you're wavering about it, if you have to wait for another episode, in this day and age, another show is going to come on, grab your attention, and you're not going to go back to it. You're not going to go back. So CBS All Access, I love you. You have quality shows. I love Star Trek Discovery. I still kind of like Picard. I love The Good Fight. But you know what? You got to abandon this spoonful approach. In 2020, we are now we are a Netflix world. We want entertainment when we want it, how we want it, and where we want it. You got to give us all the episodes and let us spoon feed it. You got to let us eat it when we want to.
Right.
They're going to have to change it. And when Howard said that, I went, that's exactly what it is. Because I've gotten bored and went off to another show.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not creating it that way either, like you watch a show. Okay, so you watch This Is Us, say, right? You expect it to be on once a week. You see previews for the upcoming episode all week long and are reminded about it. When you go on a streaming platform, who's reminding you that you should watch it? Like, Nobody. It's exactly what you're saying.
And in your mind, the consumer's mind now, even Netflix, we got to keep in mind, streaming has only been around for a very short amount of time, but we're already programmed. When we watch a show on streaming, I have heard friends say, wait, there's not another episode?
Right, you have to binge it.
We are now conditioned, when we start watching a show, we want all of them. And you can't put that genie back in the bottle, Christina Aguilera. It's out, you know what I mean? Next in the dish. Thank you. That was great. That was a little Christina Aguilera, even a little Barbara Eden up in there. That's right. Do you know who Barbara Eden is?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know Christina.
It's all right. She's 20. I mean, she's like, Barbara Eden is you'll know as soon as she's I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, yes.
That's Barbara Eden.
I used to watch that show when I was a kid.
Okay. Oh, then do you know who Barbara Eden's co-star was on I Dream of Jeannie?
I don't remember. Oh, someone from Dallas?
Okay, I'll give it to her. Mr. Dallas himself, Larry Hagman.
Oh.
Yeah, he played JR, and then in I Dream of Jeannie, Lieutenant Nelson, yeah. Next in the dish, more proof there's a day for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, today isn't just the day after Super Tuesday. It is also National Grammar Day.
Yay!
Teachers will love this. It started in 2008 to promote good grammar. And now odds are, here's the deal. We're talking about this because odds are we are all guilty in some way. We all have a little hiccup in our giddy-up of improper grammar now and then. But here's a look at some of the biggest mistakes common human beings make. First up, using fewer and less. Oh, wow. I am bad at this one. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the rule. Always remember, fewer is for numbers. Less is for intangible concepts like time.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. For example, Kendall, less than an hour and fewer than 4.
Oh.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you, Brad, for being Next, knowing the difference between, this is a big one. Knowing the difference between there, and there. There is usually about a location. That's the THERE. It's about a location. Like, I would like to go to there, okay? It's a quote from 30 Rock. There, with the apostrophe RE, means they are. So you're saying, they are the cutest dogs ever. They're those kids. And there refers to things that belong to people. Like, oh, look, that's their house. Now that one I do remember. I mess up sometimes on the Twitter when you're going like that. Other top mistakes humans make: the misuse of apostrophes and commas. I never knew. You know what the biggest mystery in life is?
What?
Semicolons. Semicolons.
No.
Okay, fine there, Inspector Gadget. When do you?
I
we
use
gotta
them
go.
in emails often. In between, like, different phrases that could be their own sentence.
So common thought.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The question is, do you correct people if they make a mistake? I don't, because I know I have hiccups. I'm not perfect in this.
I only do if it's like my husband or my sister and it's in private, so that I can say, hey, did you know? Just for next time, you know?
I got it. There's someone on Twitter that does it all the time. Thank you, Sonny. Still ahead, everybody. Kendall meets a local woman who gave up her job and followed her passion and started a pottery studio. We'll be right back, everybody. You'll see that next. Welcome back. Welcome back, dear friends. Thanks for being here. Well. If you know anything about my sidekick sister, Kendall, you know she loves sports. Well, we just heard about that, the climbing of the rope. And can throw a football, baseball, and just about any other kind of sports ball she can throw. But can she throw clay? Kendall visited a local pottery studio to find out, getting a little help from intern Kenny. Look at this.
By the way, I just want you to know, Emily, I've had visions of Patrick Swayze my whole life teaching me how to do this. But you're a really good second place.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's hard to beat
You've
that.
done more than he has for me so far. So, okay. Now what?
So you'll take your ball of clay.
Yep.
And you'll just throw it and try to put it in the middle. Amazing. So you'll take your right hand.
What if I'm left-handed?
Oh, that's okay.
Did I just throw a curveball into this whole thing?
So yeah, you'll stick your left hand on the side of the clay.
Okay.
And then your right hand on the top. You'll connect your thumbs, push the pedal, and get it spinning.
Oh God, mine's already looking like Rumpelstiltskin.
Good.
What if your hand gets hot?
Oh, get some more water.
Okay. Oh yeah, that helps. It's not as good as yours. Why does mine have a little dent in?
We'll smooth that out later.
Panic is setting in, guys. Panic is setting in.
So now we're gonna raise the walls of the pot. Just slowly raise your fingers up.
I'm gonna attempt to raise the roof. Raise the roof! I mean, raise the what?
The walls.
The walls. Uh-oh. Whoa. How do I fix that?
You're doing a great job. It looks amazing. They look the same.
Everyone at home, they don't look the same. You make a lot more interesting pottery than what you're just teaching me right now.
I love beautiful, functional pieces that everyone can use in their kitchen every day.
I'm always curious when someone's an artist, it's like, that's a leap of faith, for sure.
Right after I graduated from college, I worked in a marketing consulting firm. I just became very sad working there every day. It's really satisfying to make something that people use every day and that people love. Like, it's very gratifying work, and I finally feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, back to my potting. I mean, I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bowl.
Yeah, for like a 4-year-old.
Do you like to use some of the tools?
Oh, this is real dangerous. Oh gosh, oh gosh.
So wait a minute, when she used that tool, she was supposed to make it better or worse?
It was supposed to flatten out the top of the pot and make it even.
But
we're still going with the organic look. It looks great. Some people are really into that look, so.
Where's Patrick Swayze?
Oh, my love.
It's Patrick Swayze. It's Kenny Swayze.
Working?
I think it's working. I'm crying. Angel tears from heaven. No, Patrick, no! It's ruining it.
Oh. Yeah, that's good.
That's not what I was hoping for. All right, now What do we do?
We're gonna cut it off the wheel.
Oh, thank God, cut it off the wheel. Okay.
So you'll take this wire cutter tool and hold.
Do you need a Patrick Swayze?
No. Sorry about that. So you'll take the wire cutter tool and then just pull it straight towards you to cut your pot off.
Okay, you ready for this? Got stuck. Oh my God, I need to go home. I'm crying.
Sorry.
I can't even wipe my eyes because my hands are fucked away.
Are they supposed to have a hole in them?
No! Kendall joins me now.
I'm still crying.
There are so many questions about this. Is organic the new term for disaster? Because she referred to your bowl as organic.
I know. Emily was so nice, and we were just laughing that entire shoot. And she would just be like, oh, well, that's okay, but this is just organic.
Because you were supposed to make a bowl, right? Not a donut.
I was going to make you a bowl, and I wrote Jason on it, but there's a hole in the bottom.
But, sweet, now I'll use it as a paperweight. It's the thought that counts. That's right, yeah.
Thank you. She's sending it to me.
And did you leave Kenny there by chance?
Oh my gosh, Kenny, he just sat behind me and got ready to Patrick Swayze. I was like, hey, Intern Kenny.
And you know what's funny is, he probably doesn't even know who Patrick Swayze is. Let's be clear, yeah. Well,
so
2 years ago, I can't even laugh at Kendall because this was 2 years ago. I tried pottery myself for the show at Fired Up Studios in Apple Valley.
It's hard.
I will say, I walked out of the shoot with such respect for the art because it is way, way, way harder than you think it is. But at the same time, very relaxing.
Totally.
Did you find it relaxing?
Oh, absolutely. I've done it one other time with my husband at his uncle's clay studio. And I was there for 2 hours. The only reason I knew
Kenny
I was
wasn't there, was he? Yeah.
Is because I got up and my butt hurt. I was like, oh, I've been sitting here for a while.
It's beautiful. I have such respect for those folks. To learn more about Wondrous Crane, check out their website at wondrouscrane.com. Still ahead, everybody, we're talking about my latest best thing ever, and it stars one of my favorite human beings of all time. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. That was great. The beautiful paperweight. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, hello. Welcome back. It's the latest thing that I can't stop talking about, and I have to admit, even though it involves one of my favorite people, I wasn't sure about this. But now I'm sure, and I've named it my latest best thing ever. So here we go. I first talked about this last week on the show. My latest best thing ever is the Oprah Winfrey Show podcast. Now, it launched yesterday in Apple Podcast, or as they say in commercials, wherever you get your podcast. And basically, this is what it is. That's the cover art for it right there. Basically, it's classic episodes of the Oprah Winfrey Show in podcast form. The first 10 episodes will feature some of Oprah's favorite famous guests, like Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, and financial expert Susie Orman. Now, the show I listened to yesterday featured relationship expert Harville Hendricks, one of Oprah's favorite, I just think, people on earth, and was about how our pasts. Now, this is fascinating. I'd actually seen this episode, but I didn't want to get out of the car. This talks about how our past impacts the people we date. Listen.
I believe that all of my relationships in my 20s and early 30s I continued the abusive pattern that I'd set up in my childhood. Stedman is not an abusive person, so I think I've gotten over that.
Yeah, and that's the clue when you're saying that in the 20s and 30s you began to work on some things in yourself. That means, yes, you can get over it, but only if you work on it. And
because interestingly enough, Harville, as you know, I've said this to you, when I first started, dating Stedman, he was so kind to me, I thought something was wrong with him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He didn't fit the early patterns. He was supposed to be a more difficult person.
And also, it was a little boring at first. Being treated so well.
Absolutely. Oprah said she'll be picking from more than 4,500 episodes to feature on the podcast. The Oprah Winfrey Show podcast is available now. But before we go, I will say I said a few minutes ago I wasn't sure about this. Y'all know I love Oprah and I love the Oprah Winfrey Show. But I was like, is this going to transfer well in just audio form? That is the brilliance of Oprah curating this herself. all of this work. They cut the episode down so it's only the audio parts. They cut stuff out where you need to see the visual. They're just incredible conversations. And Lord knows the Oprah Winfrey Show had her share of those. And that particular episode, I didn't want to get out of the car because Harville is so right. I was thinking about, myself and the fact that, I didn't have the greatest father figure growing up. And everybody that I've been attracted to has kind of filled that role. And I was like, look at Oprah teaching me something else, and her show's been off the air for 10 years. The Oprah Winfrey Show podcast is my latest best thing ever, everybody. Go get it. I think you'll like it. I think there's like 4 episodes available right now. Well, still ahead, producer Ted has raved about something, a show called Love is Blind on Netflix for weeks now. I am still not convinced. Can he change my mind? You're going to find out when we come back. Back right after this.
What kind of work do you do?
So what are some of your biggest turnoffs?
So what are you looking for in a woman?
Ethnicity, race, physical appearance. None of that matters.
I'm really starting to emotionally connect with you.
This could be a remarkable love story.
You're a beautiful person. I don't have to see you to say that.
I'm scared of making the wrong decision.
Can't see my life without you. Will you be my wife?
I am engaged to somebody I've never seen before.
I hope he's just find me very attractive.
Welcome back, everybody. That is a clip from the uber popular Netflix dating show, Love is Blind. Now, before I read it, I will tell you, we've already talked about the show, but this is one of those things where we talked about it. I was resistant. I'm like, oh, this isn't anything I want to watch. I have gone through about 2 weeks of my life, and 85% of the people in my life watch this ridiculous show. And now I thought, we gotta bring this back up because something is happening with the popularity of the show. Well, producer Ted did a recap, as I said, of Love is Blind a few weeks ago before it really took off, and now everyone is watching. I haven't watched it yet and need some convincing. And that means, once again, it's time for America Loves Ted. Joining us from Love is Blind headquarters in our control room is producer Ted. Ted, I see that you are adding some production value again behind you.
Yeah.
Those are pictures of the pods, right?
Pods right here.
That's fantastic. Okay, let me add this too. Ted is watching this now. Executive producer Jeff is watching this. Alexis from the radio show is watching this. I have 2 friends watching this. So please explain one more time.
Enough said, Lori Fisher is watching it.
Oh, media superstar Lori Fisher as well. That's right. Will you explain the concept again?
So it's blind dating. They go into these pods where they all they see is this colored wall, and they speak to the person, and they just talk about their interests, and somehow they connect and decide that they are going to fall in love. And so then, like 4 or 5 days into it, they start saying, I love you. 5 or 6 days into it, they propose and get engaged.
Okay. Now, Ted, I'm sure people have come up to you and said this. Here's another reason why I wanted to reintroduce this. One of the comments I get most of all from folks that watch the show is they say, Jace, I am not real connected to pop culture, so I watch you and Ted, and I rely on you to keep me up to date. I'm not joking. I get this comment a lot. So let me ask you, Ted, let's talk to Betty from Anoka. Why are people hooked on this show? What is it about the show?
It's bizarre. Who in their right mind would do this?
Okay.
And these people are, and they are actually getting engaged, and they're actually going to get married 30 days later.
Do they stay in the pod throughout the season?
No. So once they get engaged, then they meet in that little hallway that we saw, and then they go to Cancun for a few days. You know, think of that as the fantasy suite.
Okay.
And then they move into an apartment where they're like, quote unquote, living together like normal couple. It's just your bland apartment. And then they have a wedding in which they then decide at the wedding whether they will actually go through with it.
Where do they shoot this?
Atlanta. And that wasn't really clear off the top, but all of these people are from Atlanta. So they're meeting their families and stuff. And so you're also thinking, how do these people not know each other?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of age range where, look, they're doing the swiping.
Yes.
Don't tell me they didn't swipe on each other at some point.
Because when you're single in a city, whether it's the size of Minneapolis or Atlanta, it's a small community. You're gonna, it's a single community. Yeah. Anyway, give me some. Okay. Other than the plot, and you said it's bizarre, it has to be the people too. It has to be the cast, which keeps you coming back. Who do you love? Who's interesting to you? Look at your face. Okay. What? Who's in? Again, sell it to the audience. Who do you love?
Jessica. And here's why. Her nickname on Twitter is Messica. Oh, she's so good. She's such a hot mess. She's great. Amber, Barnett.
Okay.
Oh, I mean everyone. Kenny and Kelly.
Intern Kenny is there?
No.
Oh.
But Kenny and Kelly, there is a twist at the very end where you're just like,
because
I feel blindsided.
Because the finale, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, because the finale's already aired on Netflix, right, Ted?
Yep, and the reunion episode is tomorrow.
Okay. Let me just ask you, you know me, but we've worked together for several years now. You know my taste, you know what. Do you actually think I will like this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, executive producer Jeff is right off the side. He says I will not like this.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but I want to give it a chance because everybody is watching this. I mean that. Everybody in my life is watching this thing.
You'll be hooked. I don't know if you'll like it. So you'll be hooked to it. You'll be like, I hate this show, but I have to keep watching it.
Well, there we go. There's an endorsement right there.
You'll love it.
It's like people watching our show, right, Ted? That's right, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Ted. Love is Blind is on Netflix. We're going to take a break, and we will be back right after this. Still not convinced. I'm going to try it, though. I'll try it maybe tonight. Welcome back. Kendall's here. Just you heard Ted trying to convince me to watch Love is Blind. Because you have no interest either.
Zero interest.
Are you going to watch it with me?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Hey, if you want tickets for our show, we've made it really easy. Right there's the information. Just go to the Jason Show Facebook page by searching for Jason Show TV. Hit that like button. Because, it's also the home of the Jason Show before the show. And hit that ticket tab right below the cover photo. You're in by 9:15. You're out by 11:15. And we accept groups. We have a great time with groups. So if you're a manager and you want to do a fun company outing, come see us. It's like Chuck E. Cheese, but better. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap up today's show right after this. Stay with us. Chuck E. Cheese without the pizza. Wrapping up Super Wednesday. Super Wednesday.
Yay!
I am sincerely going to take a nap today. I stayed up past 10 to watch results come in yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
that's really late for us, y'all.
It's very late.
You
Yeah,
laugh,
yeah.
but that's very late for us.
I'm a nerd. I love it. It's very exciting to me. So I just
Good for you.
I stayed up way late.
Can't. I just start to do this at like.
Oh, believe me, I was
7:30.
tired, but I was just taken in. Yeah. Well, finally, Kendall, I have a director's cut, it seems, of your pottery experiment.
Oh.
Now, this was edited for time out of the package.
Oh, good.
But we have a little clip of you actually trying to make that bowl for me. Let's look at that. Let me see this.
Hey, Kendall, what are you doing?
It's a surprise for Jason. Well, I thought he might like a new soup bowl. Soup. Don't tell him what's in the bottom. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sweetie. That's now, I'm trying to think. Now, what can I use that for? I mean, like a soup bowl with a hole in it. What
Prank?
A prank. Yeah, I could do that. Again, a nice paperweight, perhaps. I could do that.
You could just throw it at someone if you ever feel the
I
need.
don't. Do you have it?
So she made it, and then she thought she could come today, but she couldn't last minute, so she's sending it.
She's sending it.
We will show you.
I look forward. Does it say Jason or soup on the side there?
It says soup.
I am very excited to not eat soup out of my soup bowl.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
I really tried.
No, It is. I said it earlier. It's harder than people think. That's why the people that do it, they are artists. That is truly an art. And I have a new, whenever I see pottery, ever since that story 2 years ago, now when I see pottery sold at like a farmer's market, it is, I have major respect because we are not Patrick Swayze. No, we are not.
Girl.
We aren't even Demi Moore. No. Tomorrow on the show, The Jason Show, tomorrow on the show, how to pack the perfect carry-on, from what to include to what to leave out. If you want to travel light, this is the show for you. That'll be tomorrow. But right now, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to this great audience today, and thanks for you watching. And if you're a kid watching that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Enjoy the weather. Don't drive slow in the left lane, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.